Lori DiGiulio, movement and manual therapist and sensory motor education. I'm here at the beautiful Iron Matrix in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and I'm going to show you a variation for a deadlift. And actually, I use this a lot to teach people how to hip hinge. We can often cheat with the side that's a little stronger. And you might be experiencing this in your deadlift if you find that when you set up for your deadlift and then you drop your bar back on the ground, the bar is a little tilted. So it's not straight across. So doing things unilaterally on one side only can help correct that and can highlight where your weaknesses are or where you really need to focus. So I'm going to show you a single leg deadlift. And so what people often know as a single leg deadlift is planting the feet, dipping the trunk forward as one leg comes back and up off the ground, which is absolutely a single leg deadlift. But that variation makes it a little harder to load and actually is quite advanced. So if you don't have the control here in the frontal plane, in the transverse plane with the position in that hip, sometimes having that back leg come off the ground actually just sets you up kind of not for a really great movement. So I'm going to show you a variation of the deadlift where one foot is planted and the other foot is actually just stepped behind you a little bit. So I'm going to pull up these pants so you can see them. So my back foot is stepped behind my front foot, just about the distance of the length of one of your feet. The heel is up off the ground. Some people, I think, call this a kickstand deadlift. And so now I can place my foot on the ground and I can keep my hips now coming forward and back. What people often see on their weaker side is that instead of a nice sagittal plane movement forward and back, they get kind of this happening, where their hip juts out a little. And so instead, this little kickstand deadlift can really help. So I'm going to plant my front foot. My weight is going to go in the same side arm as my standing leg. The back foot is about the distance of one of my feet behind me, toes on the ground, heel lifted. And then I'm going to tip my hips back, reach for my weight. For me, my weight should be propped up a little higher, so this weight on a stool or another plate would help. And then I push in through this front leg to get me to standing, and then come back down, hips straight back. And back, and forward. It's my favorite variation of a deadlift to help me pattern that hip hinge. I'll often do it before a regular bilateral deadlift to get that pattern in and to reinforce the strength in the glute and the supporters of the hip.